Coming down to the wire, Bernie Sanders has released his schedule. I tell you what, people talk about, well, he's 74. Excuse me? He's acting like he's 24. I mean, the schedule is brutal. He's making all kinds of stops in a 6-day run up to the caucus on Monday night. All right, Dr. Andy McGuire joins us. She is the Iowa Democratic Party chair. Dr. McGuire, good to have you with us on Ed Schultz News and Commentary.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
What kind of turnout are we going to see? I mean, the Quinnipiac poll recently, it's neck and neck. Sanders 49-45 within the margin of error. O'Malley at 4%. Everybody says they got a ground game. What are you expecting?
Well, Ed, I would tell you all three candidates do have a ground game. They're very well organized all through the state, and we're expecting a very good turnout on caucus night. Maybe not quite to the unique turnout of 2008, but a very, very good turnout.
Well, the analysis is that if the young people do show up the way they've been polled, that Bernie's in pretty good shape. And you being a party chair, I know you got to walk the line on that. But what are going to be some of the factors here, you think?
Well, obviously, weather's always one, and it looks like we may have a hold on weather, so hopefully that's good. But it just depends on which organizations can really fire up their people to get there on caucus night. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's exactly at one time everywhere in the state. But what I've seen when I've been traveling the state is they all have organizations in all parts of the state. And so, I think they always talk about Bernie having some of the younger or certain people having, Martin O'Malley having less. I tell you what I see. I see support all over the state. And even Martin O'Malley has a very good organization. I would say he looks like he's above where they put him in the polls. So I think we're going to have a neck-and-neck race, and that really helps with turnout because that people know that their vote really counts and that they can determine the outcome of this. And that's great for a party chair who, I need turnout. That's how I win in November. Well,
turnout, let's talk about that. What's your sense? I mean, you've been through this before. You've seen it before in Iowa. Does it look like it's going to be? I've had people tell me, this is going to be a record night. It's going to be just a barn burner.
Well, I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to be a great turnout. We had such a unique situation in 2008, really doubled our previous turnout. So I'm not sure we'll get to that level, but, I stopped trying to predict turnout because people tried to predict it before. They're always wrong. So you never know what's going to happen, but I do know it's going to be a good one. I think it will rival, somewhere between where we usually are and 2008, but it's so hard to predict it. And I just want to make sure that everybody who's listening to you, it's in Iowa, comes out in caucuses, because this is really your time to have your voice heard. It's a great democracy in action, and I just want to tell people, come on out, get in line at 6:30, be in line by 7, and tell us who your preference is for leading us forward.
And when do you think this is all going to conclude? Is this a 2-3 hour process? When do you think this caucus would be called?
Well, we have a great new app, and so we'll be announcing the progress of how we're getting the results in all along. But typically it takes at least an hour-ish to get the first results in, and then it'll go from there. It's hard to say just because there's a lot of conversation. The great thing about the Democratic caucus is we have great conversations about where our country should go and the issues that are important to people. So it takes a while. But 2 or 3 hours in, I would guess we'll know where we're going.
Okay. Look across the street now. What's going on with the Republicans? What's your take on who's going to win that? Is it going to be Cruz or is it going to be Trump?
I'm not sure I can even predict between those two, but I will tell you one thing, Ed. They are all doing the Trump policies. They're all talking about divisiveness and hatred. And honestly, they're talking about policies that are from back before George Bush. And so really, I keep being amazed that people are listening to that and thinking that's a good direction for our country.
Okay. Dr. Andy McGuire, chair of the Iowa Democratic Party. Appreciate your time. All the best.
Well, thank you. Thanks for what you do.
You bet.